Good evening, everybody, and welcome to GEGMN's Tip Tuesday. My name is Georgina Dean, and I am the GEGMN leader. And I'm really excited today to be joined by one of our GEGMN teammates, Tamina. So welcome, Tamina. And Tamina is also a colleague at the school that I work at, and she is a super maths rock star and a super Google rock star. So we're very excited to have her on the call this evening. And if everybody who's joining would like to just jot down their name and where they're joining us from in the comments so that we can shout out all the different areas that are joining us today, that would be great. And while everybody is jotting down their name and their location. Just want to check in with everybody and see how everyone's doing. We're halfway through. I think this is week 7, right, Tamina? Week 7 of distance learning in Amman, Jordan. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to have found a little bit of a groove at last. What about you, Tamina? Yay, super success story. And Dina, how's I think you guys are I can't remember if you guys are in also in week 7 of distance learning, but how's everything going with you as well? Let us know. And for anybody else who is joining asynchronously after this recording ends, please still feel free to comment in the YouTube comment section where you're joining from. It's always nice to know the different areas that are joining. So for today's Tip Tuesday, we are very excited, as I mentioned before, to have Tamina as a guest, and she will be sharing all things Equatio with us, which she has shared with me previously, has been a super big support in her math lessons. And she also took super awesome initiative to share some other cool equivalents or other resources that could help with math teaching as well through collaboratively through G Suite for Education or through other platforms, because we know that in the current distance learning situation, it's all about getting as much support as possible and being very ed tech agile, which I like to refer to often enough. And so being able to use different technologies, learning technologies that are available to us as well as available to our students. So Tamina is going to be sharing that with us. And then we'll just take a look at a couple of resources, time permitting at the end, to add some more googliness and engaging adventures to your distance learning journey. So Tamina, I'm going to pass it over to you in a second. Now, I also, just before I do that though, I did want to share in the chat, YouTube chat, as I always do, the GEGMN agenda for the day. So there's the link, and you guys are welcome to take all of these awesome resources that Tamina has curated for today's agenda. So she'll be sharing her screen to show you stuff, but if you'd like to follow along with any of the links that she mentions, then you'll be able to do that with this Google slide. So I am now very technically, carefully, aptly, and inshallah, as they say, going to resize Tamina's Google Meet screen that I've pulled into today's task so that she can now share her screen. So let's see if I can do that. Stand by. Yes. There we go. Tamina, you are becoming biggie sized. Stand by. I love using that word. It's not super technical term of myself, I have to say, but it's one of my favorite terms to use when I'm telling my students, can you biggie size that? I absolutely love saying that to students. It makes them smile, really, I promise. Okay, so thank you. That's good. Okay, so Tamina, you are on the show. All we see is you, your lovely googliness. So please feel free to continue. Go ahead. We're excited to hear from you. Thank you. I'm pretty sure that it's everybody's first comment when they join live. I know Dina joined one of the GEG Pack events as well the other week, and she was saying as well the similar comments. So don't feel bad. You're not alone in that, Tamina. We see you. Don't worry. Tamina, can I ask you a question about Equatio? Do you mind going back to your other screen for a second? Or shall I hold my questions till the end? Does that make me a bad host? Sorry to our viewers. We hadn't planned our dialogue before, which is okay also, as you all know. But Tamina, do you want me to hold off till the end or? No, it's okay. I was curious to know, and sorry, just for our viewers as well, if anyone has any questions for Tamina, please go ahead and drop them in the chat, and then we can ask her during the call as well. So Tamina, my question was, like, I see there's a handwriting space on this slide. Can people, like, for other subject matters use this as well, like for English or for science, if they wanted to, like, put a label? Do you know by chance if this would be, do you think it might be appropriate? I know. Okay. No, that's good. Yeah. Oh, that is so great. And so then with the equation on the, was it the mass extension you said? Sorry, the other one? Max tool. So with this one, then would they be able to import that into like a Google Doc or save it as something, or it just enables them to create equations? Oh, great. Wonderful. Do you want to share your whole window or perfect? Yeah. It's so much fun to learn all together, right? I'm so excited you're joining us today. This is so exciting. You've already taught me two super cool, awesome resources for Max. It's okay. We've all been there before, don't worry. I'm sure you did because you're just one of those super organized individuals, Tamina, and so I'm sure our viewers are okay with that. But they have the link, right? So they our viewers can go and test that out after if it's not going to work now, yeah? Okay. I think it's a great share. I think it's a great share because there are not everybody's using Apple Mac OS. So yeah, I think it's important that everybody has different options they can use. So that's wonderful. We can, yes, we can see a preview here, right? Math here, is that right? So, Tamina, while your phone is loading, do you think that the tools that you've already shared with us are going to be super helpful for uh, all students or just secondary students? Do you foresee this being able to be used for distance learning with teachers when they're setting maths activities for their students in primary? What would you recommend, do you think? Yes, yes. Or wait, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the other way. Grade grade 5 is year 4. I think it's the other way. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. Either way, if you're from our lovely North American counterparts, then please just either go backwards or forwards a year, and yes, you'll be there. We're so unhelpful. We're so unhelpful today, Tamina, with that little transfer. Okay. I love it. Who else loves it? If you are joining in the call, please give a shout out if you think that is something that will be super helpful in your classrooms. And Tamina, what I really loved most about your recent share was that you had said that you learned that from your students. And I just commented in the chat to celebrate that with you and say that I think that it shows teachers as role models when we actually learn alongside our students, and it shows them that we don't know everything, and it shows them that even at our age, or I should say my age because I'm the older one, that we're still always learning new things, right? And that it's really important to grow together. So well done on that. It's do, it's an interesting analogy, and we love all things Google, so we will roll with it. It's awesome, right? Yeah, I think it's I think it's great that we're sharing, and I think that's one really awesome thing about GGMan as well as the rest of the Googlers internationally, that we are just sharing so many awesome things to support engagement with our learners across distance learning right now. So this is wonderful, and thank you so much for sharing those with us. And like Tamina said to our viewers today, if you have any other awesome math tools that you think we could app smash up with G Suite for Education, that would be super helpful because maths is often, as I'm sure Tamina would agree, something that is it can be quite visual, and a lot of people are able to engage more with visual participation. So definitely anything or any new strategies you have, please feel free to share them in the comments, and we'll grow that. So Tamina, what I'm going to do now is just stay where you are because we'd love for you to just continue with us. I'm going to make your screen a little smaller and go back to the agenda now. There we go. Now we're together as co-hosts. That's wonderful. And we have just a few minutes left over, which is really good timing. So we've got about 7 minutes. And we wanted to share. And I remember when Tamina and I were talking about the other items on the agenda for today, she was quite excited, especially about one of these. So I am going to introduce the other two items. So the first one, if you take a look at the agenda, is the Google Arts and Culture, the hidden world of the national park. So again, if you hover over the link, you'll find a link to the hidden world. And Tamina, I don't know if that link is working for you. Give it a try in your browser and let me know. I might share your screen if it does. But in my current domain, it's not loading. I had tested it like you and it was, but now it's not. So I'm going to share my personal screen, but basically Google has set up a basically 360 virtual tour. So I know I shared some virtual tours with everybody previously on one of the Tip Tuesdays, but this one is about the national parks, and it's a great way to connect with nature. Even if it's like a starter or a pre-starter, you can connect it. Like since we're on the maths topic today, you could easily take kids on a tour of one of the national parks and talk about what shapes do you pick out, or why do you think there are so many of this item? And you can come up with some. I don't know if you have any other ideas that they could do on these virtual tools related to maths, but you could also relate it to English or science, right, Tamina? No, this is brilliant. And basically, if you're able to click on the link, guys, to go through, you're able to see, to click on the different national parks. Um, and you can click to do the virtual tours, but there's also collections if you scroll further down to look at different parts of history that shaped like America, for example. So it's a really nice international connection. And you can also do guided tours like of Roosevelt's home, Abraham Lincoln's home is in there. There's the Alcatraz Island. I was so excited, guys. I actually visited San Francisco this past summer. I didn't have time, I have to say, to go to Alcatraz Island, but I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm so close. It's quite exciting. And these, imagine my excitement, guys. This is the kind of connection that your students will be able to make as well. If your students have traveled to any of these places, or maybe it's on their list and they're really looking forward to going, this will inspire that curiosity. You know, when we think about what is it that creates an engaged learner? What is it that creates an engaging lesson? And it's that hook, it's that buy-in, right? And so these types of real world virtual interactions are those hooks that you're looking for lessons. So do take a look at the Google Arts and Culture. And you can scroll through, and there's loads of collections. There's also the President's Collection. There's the Native American crafts. So take a look at that. Super awesome. The last item on today's agenda is the TED Ed lessons. So I am able to click on that and share with everybody. So these TED Ed lessons, I actually learned from another Googler during one of my GEG APAC lessons that I was attending. So big shout out to Nate from GEG Nagoya. In his lesson, he shared TED Ed lesson. So the link is in there if you'd like to explore this with your students for your lessons for distance learning. But basically, there's a collection of lessons that are ready for you. So for example, that song, the it song, this may be geared more towards our primary students or early year students. But if you scroll down, there are other things like the Mona Lisa effect, sound, trusting your ears, coding, the importance of settings. So that might be good for creating a story. Sleep, really great topic during distance learning right now. How can we balance? I know some of our viewers were saying that they were having difficult time sleeping, or maybe even a lot of our students, right, Tamina, having difficult time balance sleeping with all the online activities. And I know, Tamina, you said you were really excited about this, so I'm going to hand it over to you. Did you have any ideas about how we could use these TED Ed lessons for distance learning? Yes. No, that is a massive celebration. I totally agree. And I love what you said about how it acts as a springboard into their own self-paced learning. So their own independent project, or they could even then be broken up into group students and work collaboratively online. I really love that idea. So to our viewers who are watching, whatever you're able to find useful, at least there will be some amazing content in here in the TED Ed lessons. And you can click on this drop down arrow to search by different subjects if you don't just want to randomly look around through everything jumbled together. You can search specifically for content that you're looking for, and you can also register or sign in. You can go to the create and you can create your own video based lesson. Students can create their own talks, but again, as we always say, check with your school administration guys and make sure that this is vetted and okay for your school, and exactly what parts that your school would like students to have access to use. Um, obviously you have to be careful with the digital citizenship, so just make sure you check with your school if you would like your students to actually be starting to create their own content that then would be published online. And then here's the support button. If you'd like to nominate any awesome educators such as Tamina, right guys, then you can click on the nominate to support. No. And share TED Ed. So that's a little bit of the TED Ed, and then TED Ed lessons, and then back to our agenda. That's it for today. And actually, despite our short late start getting our technical stuff all sorted, we actually managed to finish exactly on time. We're 31 minutes in. So I'm just going to check the chat and see. Yeah, I'm going to check the chat and see if there is any questions. I don't see that there's any questions, but I'll just give one last shout out to our viewers and see if they do have any questions. On the agenda, guys, remember that the GEG Aman form is always embedded into the slide agenda. So if you have any colleagues who you think would benefit from Tip Tuesdays, we also have our GEG Aman monthly webinar coming up on Thursday from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. GMT +3. So it'll be an hour covering all the different G Suite updates. There are a lot to cover this month. And we'll have a googly treat for you guys as well. So lots of celebration. So if you're able to join us, please join in at 5:30 p.m. After tomorrow on Thursday, the 30th of April. And so, yeah, if you have anybody that you think would benefit from that, or where you would just like to connect with awesome educators like Tamina and Dina and all the other people out there, then please go ahead and join us. We are all about Grow with Google, and this is exactly, as Tamina said earlier, exactly what it's all about. So I'd like to thank Tamina for her time today and joining. She is a very busy educator also, so we really appreciate. I learned a lot about those awesome maths tools, so thank you very much for always teaching me new things and for joining us today. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. That was not planned, guys, but thank you. That's very kind. Yeah, so we will say hasta la vista in another language today, which is farewell, goodbye, and see you guys on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. for the monthly webinar. Take care, stay safe, and thank you once again for everything you are all doing for education to make it awesome during distance learning and beyond. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Bye.